Have you ever left an argument feeling guilty, even though you knew you did nothing wrong? Have you caught yourself apologizing for something the other person did to you? If this happens frequently, you might be a victim of a devastating manipulation technique that narcissists use to reverse blame. And today, you're going to discover exactly how this trap works and how to protect yourself from it. Blame shifting, also known as DARVO, is a technique where the narcissist transforms you, the victim, into the villain of the story. And they do this in three very calculated stages. First, they completely deny doing anything wrong. Even with evidence right in front of them, they'll swear you're making it all up. Second, they attack you. This is where the dark magic happens. Instead of defending themselves, they turn the game around and start accusing you of things they themselves did, or invent problems that don't exist. And third, they position themselves as the victim. Suddenly, that person who hurt you is crying, saying you're cruel, that you don't understand their suffering. The result? You completely forget the original problem and start apologizing, trying to fix something you didn't even break. It's as if you went to complain that someone crashed into your car, and by the end of the conversation, you're paying for the repair of the other person's car. It sounds absurd, but that's exactly how it works. Let me give you some real examples so you can identify this in your life. Example 1. In a relationship, you discover that your partner is having inappropriate conversations with someone else. When you confront them, instead of explaining or apologizing, they say, "You're obsessed. You're spying on me? That's sick. You don't trust me because you have insecurity issues." Do you see what happened? You had a legitimate complaint, but now you're defending yourself from the accusation of being insecure and controlling. Example 2. In the family environment, you ask your father to stop making derogatory comments about you. The response? "After everything I've done for you, you come to attack me? I've sacrificed my entire life for this family, and you're too ungrateful to recognize it?" Again, you had a fair request, but now you're comforting the person who hurt you. Example 3. At work, your boss promises a pay rise and doesn't deliver. When you mention it, they say, "You only think about money. Perhaps you're not committed enough to the company. People who are really dedicated don't keep asking." See the pattern? In all cases, the narcissist deflects attention from their mistake and puts you on the defensive. You're probably wondering, why does such an obvious technique work so well? The truth is that empathetic people, like you probably are, have a natural tendency to question themselves. When someone points out a flaw in you, even if it's invented, you stop and think, "Did I really do that? Am I being unfair?" Narcissists know this. They know you have a conscience, that you care about being a good person, and they use your kindness against you. Furthermore, the reversal happens so quickly that you don't even notice when you left the role of victim and entered the role of the accused. It's like in a film where you're watching a scene and suddenly you realize you're inside the screen. Another crucial factor, often these people raise their voice, create drama, cry, or threaten. This creates such enormous emotional pressure that you just want it to end. And the quickest way to end it, accept the blame and apologize. Now, pay attention to these signs that you're being manipulated. Sign 1. You always leave arguments feeling guilty even when you were right. Sign 2. You're afraid to bring up problems because you know you'll end up being blamed for something. Sign 3. The person never, ever takes responsibility. There's always an excuse. The blame is always on someone else or on circumstances. Sign 4. You find yourself apologizing for absurd things, like apologizing for being hurt by something the person did. Sign 5. Your friends and family say you've changed, that you're always defensive or always justifying yourself. If you've identified 3 or more of these signs, it's very likely you're in a relationship with a manipulative narcissist. Now comes the most important part. How do you defend yourself from this? Strategy 1. Stay focused. When the person tries to change the subject, you return to the original point. "I understand your point, but we're talking about X. Can we resolve this first?" Strategy 2. Document everything. Write down dates, conversations, promises. Narcissists rely on your poor memory and your doubt. When you have everything written down, it's harder for them to convince you that you're crazy. Strategy 3. Don't defend yourself against absurd accusations. If someone accuses you of something ridiculous just to divert the subject, don't take the bait. A simple, "That's not what we're talking about," is enough. Strategy 4. Set clear boundaries. I won't continue this conversation if you shout at me, or when you're ready to talk about the real issue, let me know. Strategy 5. Consider leaving. Sometimes the best defense is distance. If you're in a relationship where this happens constantly and the person refuses to change, you need to seriously evaluate whether it's worth continuing. Understanding this technique is already half the battle. Now you know how to recognize when you're being manipulated, and you have tools to protect yourself. Remember, you're not responsible for other people's emotions. You have the right to express your needs without being turned into a villain. If this video helped you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. And tell me in the comments, have you ever been through a situation like this? Take care, and see you in the next video.